Good morning. My name is Sipho Msai. I'm the Chief Executive of Rainwater. Before we request the COO to just give an update of the latest in terms of how much water we've been pumping, storing and supplying to our customers, I've been requested by the team to just talk about the latest affirmation by Fitch, the rating agency, international rating agency, that has affirmed our rating at AA+, stable outlook. As she indicates, I think for us it's really a vote of confidence from this independent international organization. Against really the backdrop of some of the sentiments that have been held at our way by our detractors, and our view is that to an extent it vindicates us insofar as some of the things that we have been vocal about and highlighting in the last number of years insofar as water provision is concerned in our area of operations. I think what comes out of that rating, it's, as many would want to believe, that it just talks numbers. It has no relationship with the business of providing water. In contrast, it actually does. In fact, it's intertwined, because the rating does not only talk to what you call the quantitative issues, financial risks of the business, the numbers, but qualitative issues in terms of our business model, really underpinned by a strong set of leaders supported by the board and the Ministry, Water and Sanitation, and of course a good number of 3,800 people that wake up every morning, work 247, 365 to abstract, purify, pump and distribute water to all our consumers. And of course, we have a perfect understanding that this is not about fish swimming. People really sacrifice a lot to ensure that water is provided to our customers. And to that effect, it's more than attending to your job on a 9 to 5 basis, but going beyond the call of duty. So Fitch not only looks at, as I indicate, the financial aspects of the business, but how this business is run in total, from the shareholder point of view, executive, the board, and so on and so forth. But who is this Fitch, and really what does it mean, and what do they do? The Fitch, as I indicated, is an international award-winning independent rating agency, essentially based, last I checked, in New York and London. This rating is used by investors to determine if an organization like Rainwater is worthwhile to invest in, and therefore their investment will not default, or if they will get the return on the investment, good return that they make in institutions like ourselves. So they reflect on the organizations like Rainwater that issue bonds from the quantitative point of view into the market, and if indeed they will get that return. So Fitch has got various scales. There has been AAA, followed by the very high rating quality, which is now bestowed and confirmed or affirmed on Rainwater, and with an outlook that is stable. So it's, if you like, those ratings are on a sliding scale, they will then cascade all the way to the lower numbers, B, C, D, and all the way, I think, to R. The lower the rating, the indication, therefore, is that there's an elevated vulnerability of default risk in terms of the issuance of the bonds that companies like us do in the marketplace. But what does this have to do with water provision? The Rainwater, as I indicated previously, it's a self-sufficient business enterprise. We generate our own revenue. From the revenue that we generate, we cover our costs, all our costs, including the water that we buy from the Department of Water and Sanitation. In that tariff, it also includes the investments in the long run in the terms of building the dams in Lesotho. We know Pudihari is up and running now, and then the indication from the department is that it will be completed in 2028, if I'm not mistaken. So we need that revenue to come through for that purpose. Secondly, we buy chemicals to purify the water. We buy electricity from Eskom, Ekurhuleni, City Power, Mfuleni, to pump that water to get it into municipal reservoirs. I did indicate that we also buy chemicals, but we pay salaries, but most importantly, we also do maintenance and other costs. Our maintenance, as I indicate, as I highlighted last time, it's in the north of 300 million. So following that, you need to generate that profit. For us, we don't generate profit for the purpose of declaring dividends, but the profit that we generate, which is a function of cash generated from our cash flow statement on our operations, goes towards the renewing and the refurbishment of our infrastructure, which is something that we continuously do. But beyond that, we need to augment our infrastructure to build capacity to continue to provide. In August this year, we built purification works in Vereeniging, Zeker Bosch Farm, to be specific, to add an additional 150 million liters of water into the system. In the next 20 months or 24, we are going to be adding another 450 to take System 5/8 to 600 million liters of water a day. For that, we need a long-term cash or long-term liabilities to support these long-term assets. But as you know, we also build the largest post-tension precious concrete reservoir in our fleet in the continent, to ensure that we store more water into the system. Because we don't get money from the fiscus, we go into the marketplace. We are Johannesburg Security Exchange, that listed company. We borrow money, we issue bonds, and those bonds have to be serviced. We serviced one in 2021 in April, RW21. We're going to be redeeming RW23 in December this year. So it is a continuous process. We have to go into the market to borrow money and upgrade our infrastructure. So if we have a good rating, firstly, it means our investment is not a no investment grade. It means we can borrow money to continuously upgrade our infrastructure, augment it, so that we supply more water to meet the current and future demands. So that is the first reason. But the second reason is that if you get a good rating, you get money, a cost of capital relatively inexpensive. So you want to keep it up there as much as you can. So this bodes well for us, because we are going to be going into the marketplace. We intend to roll out capital expenditure to the tune of 35 billion in the next 5 years. Of course, this mostly will be long-term assets, and therefore going into the marketplace, this is a vote of confidence that we can borrow money in the marketplace and ensure we have a perfect balance between that we generate and equity and good cash flow to service those bonds. So again, the profit that we generate is important for us to always have this sinking fund that we use to service those bonds, and we do not default. So I think it is important for us to keep this going and ensure that we get a good rating, so that for those reasons we get good capital in terms of its cost from the marketplace. But Fitch, as I indicated, does not only talk to the numbers, it talks to the future outlook. The current outlook is saying is stable, but they have highlighted few things that are noteworthy and that we have been talking about for a considerable period of time. The need for the value chain to attend to municipal water leaks, and the debt and debtors' days of rainwater going the wrong way. They indicating that they need to be attended to. If they are not, it will have a possible negative outlook going forward. So to that effect, as I indicated, we're going to be joined by our minister, the chairman of the board, on roadshows to engage our municipalities to ensure that we pay it on time. to alleviate this risk, because it's of their benefit. If, of course, our rating goes the wrong way, it indicates, or it will create problems for us to borrow money to upgrade the infrastructure that they desperately need to meet the future demands. So we are really attending to that. We'll secondly, on the issues of water losses in the municipal space, as highlighted by the Department of Water and Sanitation, no drop report. The project 1600 needs to be intensified. We need to work with our municipality to deal with those issues, so that, as we have seen with one of the municipalities, as soon as the non-revenue water goes out of the way, it becomes too high in terms of physical losses. One of those municipalities is losing 60% of the water that we give them, and then it creates problems for them to pay us, and then it does affect us. So Fitch has noted some of these issues, and that needs to be addressed. As I highlight, we are going and will continue to engage with our municipalities to ensure those that are addressed. And I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank our municipal customers and others, particularly those that pay us on time, and those that we know they're going through a tough time but making an effort to pay us. We are eternally grateful, and then we hope, as you will see during the course of this year, as we announce our financials, will have a positive bearing on our bottom line. I think I will leave it here, and then ask the COO to take us through the numbers. But at a high level, I think we are seeing an improvement. I'm particularly still concerned. The reservoirs are showing good improvement. The consumption is stabilizing, and then we need to get it to a certain number so that we can have enough water into the system to pressurize all the system. But mostly, I think it is important to emphasize that the current consumption that we are seeing, in all likelihood, we want to see it going forward, so that water is shared equitably, sustainably for all those that are in our area of operation, and indeed ensure that rainwater remains sustainable as we provide bulk water provision to our municipalities. Thank you very much. COO will take us through the actual figures in terms of how the system has behaved in the last week. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, CE. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Mahlo Molamehlo, COO Rand Water. Yes, I think as the CE has already outlined, we are giving a status update of the system. Again, just to remind the viewers and the listeners that the Rand Water system is indeed a bulk water system, which distributes water into the customers who then reticulate. So the system that we talk about from a Rand Water point of view is a bulk system that is operated by Rand Water. Just getting straight into it, the system has showing good signs of recovery, as the CE has just indicated. The red line, you will recall that our red line is the one that indicates the storage in our system, and as you can see, the line is on its way back into the 60 and the 80 zone that we've always been talking about. And again, just a reminder that our yellow line here denotes the pumped water. So we have been pumping. We still continue to pump at full capacity. There hasn't been any pumping interruptions, either as a result of power outage or infrastructure outage. So we continue pumping at full capacity, and we continue supplying water to the customers. The next few slides are going to show the consumption by our customers. But before we go into that particular topic, we are also just showing the critical reservoirs, or storage, if you like, in the Rand Water system, which in the main we operate 4 critical systems: Mapleton, Palmeet, Aikenhof, as well as Swartkopis. Again, just a quick reminder, Mapleton supplies water largely into city of Ekurhuleni, city of Tshwane, eastern part of Tshwane in particular, as well as areas in Mpumalanga. Palmit is responsible for water that goes into city of Johannesburg, city of Tshwane, the western part of Tshwane, all the way to northwest municipalities, your Madibeng, Rustenburg. We also have Eikenhof, that also augments supply into Johannesburg. In fact, I beg your pardon, Eikenhof is the one that is responsible for water into the northwest. And Swartkopis is the central area, your Midrand, largely city of Johannesburg, as well as Ekurhuleni, the Benoni areas and the likes. And as you can see, again, from the beginning of the week, from last week, we are still continuing with an upward trajectory, as shown by the previous graph. But in terms of the actual figures, we are seeing our critical reservoirs on an increase. And we really would like to keep increasing these critical reservoirs so that we are back into that 60 to 80 zone that the CE spoke about. And really, it presents a number of advantages, if I may just remind your good selves, that operating a system in that particular zone gives us an opportunity to undertake our maintenance, our routine maintenance, without interrupting any supply. It also provides a benefit of ensuring that those systems in the metros in particular that rely on the head, in other words, on the level of our reservoirs, they also are not affected. Often than not, whenever there are issues that are bulk supply related, they are as a result of lower levels, which means hydraulically you are not able to gravitate water into a particular system. And that's why we want some of the reservoirs to be operated at a higher level, just so that hydraulically they are able to assist the systems that need to be assisted. The consumption, we're starting with City of Johannesburg. It's showing a good sign of the consumption dropping. Again, we want to get to below this red line, and when things stabilize more to a healthier to excellent status of the system, we need to be operating closer to this green line. So as can be seen here from last week, there was a very nice drop of about 60 megaliters per day. That equates to about 3.7%. However, the consumption in City of Johannesburg is still 6.7% above the agreed quota. Similarly, in Tshwane, we are seeing a very good sign with numbers dropping. In terms of the consumption, we also want to get it below the red line, making its way to the green line. For the past week, we saw a 6.8 drop, which is 47.9 megaliters per day, but Tshwane is still 6.5% above the agreed quota. Oh, sorry, I skipped Ekurhuleni. Ekurhuleni, again, also the third metro, also on a downward trajectory towards the red line, and there was a drop in the past week of about 1.6%, which is 14.1 megaliters per day. However, still 8.2% above the agreed quota, which is that red line there. Overall, the three metros combined, they also showing a good decline as compared to last week. What this means is that, ladies and gentlemen, that the interventions that we continue to have on a daily basis with our metros are beginning to show some good positive results. We are not out of the woods yet. The system is stable. All three metros have reported that all their areas have water. Not even a single one of them, as at this morning, reported issues related to bulk. Where there are issues in a particular metro, those would be localized. What do we mean by localized issues? And I'm going to keep stressing this point just so that the distinction between the bulk system and the reticulation system gets to be understood. From a bulk point of view, when there are issues, you normally would see that we start talking suburbs, we start talking communities. But if you start talking individual households, one section here and there, one street, or two streets for that matter, that is not a bulk issue. That is most likely a localized issue. And in that instance, we then request consumers to first check with their local authority as what the issue could be. Most probably at the time, the local authority is already aware of the issue and they are already attending to it. So often than not, when it's a street or two or a section in a particular suburb, it's not a bulk issue. It's a localized issue because we've seen some of the coverage that is still battling to draw the distinction. But in summary, the systems are quite stable, but we operate live systems, which means chances of breakdowns happening are there. They will always be there for as long as we operate live systems, especially in the local authorities, where from time to time they will have issues here and there that are localized. Those are there almost on a daily basis. You will always find those issues. The important thing is just to make sure that the authorities are aware of those issues and are actually attending to it. I'm going to leave it at that, MC, and this is the update for the week. Thank you.
Thank you, COO, and thank you, CE. It's now time for us to take questions, if there are any questions. Can I see maybe by show of hands, even online? We do have a roving mic. Any questions? There is one question online. Okay, right. Would you like to read the question for us? Can you just get a mic quickly? Thank you, Zee.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes. You can go ahead with the question.
I would like to speak on a press release that Economy actually put out this week about them not owning land water anymore. And they said in this release that outstanding agreement land water explicitly stipulates a mandatory 21-day notice period ahead of any planned service interruption, allowing for necessary contingency planning. I want to know, are you always able to give that mandatory 21-day notice period, or is there sometimes incidences where it has to be implemented on short notice?
Do we have any more questions? All right, before we go to Bafedile from eNCA, ma'am, can I just ask that you just give your name and the media house that you're representing? We missed that one at the beginning.
Ingrid Duplessis from Nedbank, Field World Media Platform.
Thank you, Ingrid. Okay, Bafedile.
Good morning, my name is Bafedile Moerane from eNCA. So on Monday, we had a focus on water infrastructure challenges. So my colleagues were in the areas of Tshwane Metro. We want to find out from US Rainwater that Tshwane Metro has released a statement saying that urging residents to use water sparingly. The area perpetually struggle with water, including areas like Hammanskraal. Where does the challenge come from, or is it the municipality's challenge?
Okay, we've got that. Thank you. Before we give CE and CO an opportunity to respond, I just want to check, do we still have more questions, or can we give our leaders a chance to respond? Okay. CE, CO, we do have 2 questions. Thank you.
Yeah, those are quick ones, and if you want details, the CO can come in. But just as a matter of principle, the first question, it was very faint. I'm not so sure what you said Ekurhuleni has communicated, but the portion that I got was that if we have planned maintenance, yes, we do give them 21 days notice. But if we have breakdowns, unplanned breakdowns, we also do, but on a short-term basis. Like we had a leak last week on the M8 line. We had to fix it. Of course, we had to keep our water losses very low. We informed them on a short notice, and then we communicated jointly with them and issued a statement. But what is also helping with the exercise that the COO is having on a daily basis, we get to have on a 24-hour basis a perfect understanding of the entire value chain, and they get to know everything that we need to do to either fix a leak, repair a leaking pipe, replace a meter, and so on and so forth. But yes, correctly so. If we have long-term planned maintenance, we have to give them long-term 21-day notice. But sometimes we have breakdowns, and we have to repair water leaks very quickly. So we have that platform and mechanism with them to ensure that that happens. Yeah, Bafedile, you're quite right. I think issues that are related to Amaskral, they've been dealt with the City of Tshwane, and then they're best positioned to respond to those. Thank you.
Thank you, CE. Just to check, Bafedile and eNCA, are you happy with the responses that you got from CEs? Do you have a follow-up question? You sorted. Great. Thank you very much. If we don't have any more questions, I would like to close the session, and thank you very much for joining us, colleagues and journalists from various media houses, and colleagues who are also online. Thank you very much. With regard to the next session, we will communicate when and how are we going to have the session. CE and COO, they have indicated that the system is stabilizing, our critical reservoirs are improving, so we'll also review the need for weekly sessions. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much. Before we close, I see is there a hand? Is there a hand?
Question on chat.
In chat, okay, right.
Would you be able to give us feedback